Good morning. Mary Watkins is playing. Thank you, Mary. That was the amazing Mary Watkins playing. Good morning, and welcome to Unity of San Leandro Sunday morning message and meditation. We're glad you've chosen to worship the God of your understanding with us this morning. We're glad you are here. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living, and we honor all paths to God and provide a philosophy that is spiritual, not based in fear. I'm Reverend Diana McDaniel. I'm a Unity minister, and I am here set up for us to come together online to stay connected, and so we can worship together. We have an opening prayer, and I invite you to let these words be your words. I know some of you know it. It begins, there it is. And so we breathe and know that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. God, the good, omnipotent. One presence, one power. It's part of us and we're part of it. And so it is. Amen. We are in the state of California, and it's a beautiful sunshiny day, blue skies. It's lovely outside. And George McDaniel will be reading, the daily word that's not here. It's not there. That's all right. We won't worry about it. We just won't read it today. I can't believe I moved it and it's not here. Well,
happy Sunday, everybody.
George says, happy Sunday. Can you see him? And I think he even shaved. Thank you, McDaniel. I appreciate it. So if I had my phone, I would be able to use the daily word, but that's okay. We are continuing on. Things happen. Our Unity Worldwide Ministries, where I was with them last week, we did lots of daily words. All right. Well, let's just be in that place of breathing and moving into a time of meditation. And so let's see ourselves open and receptive to that living spirit of truth that is known by many different names. And so we breathe, we smile, and we embrace the world. We have so much going on in the Middle East, in the area of Ukraine, in the Congo, and various places and on the African continent. So our goal is for peace. I invite you to think of the idea where there's harmony and peace, where people can get along. Let's set our intention that in a short time, that peace prevails all over the planet. We know we can plant the seeds of peace, but it seems like it is the vine that has to make it grow. And so again, we breathe and envision good happening everywhere. That something good is indeed happening. If you have a prayer request, I invite you to bring it to mind. And as you bring it to mind, just envision, have that knowing that something is happening in that situation that's working for your benefit. So no matter how difficult it is, we see good coming from it. And so there's nothing too large, nothing too small. And we'll see the divine moving in. And we see answered prayer. And so we pray in the name and through the power of the living Christ that this is so. And so it is. Amen. And join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, Mother, God, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name and thy nature. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have also forgiven our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. And Mary is going to play a hymn. Thank you, Mary. walks with me, and he talks with me. Bravo! Thank you, Mary. That was In the Garden. You know, at first I was listening to it, I said, I know that song. And I couldn't quite place it. And then the words sort of started coming. And he walks with me and talks with me. Yeah. Good morning again. We have an affirmation this morning. It's I set my clear intention and leave the rest to God. I set my clear intention and leave the rest to God. This morning, I have, and I don't think you can see it very well, but this is a photograph of a national park, and it doesn't look like a national park because it's at a place where there was an explosion during World War II, and this is the Port Chicago National Memorial. And I have been involved with a group where we set our clear intention, our desire for it to become a national park. So we advocated, we wrote letters, we did all kinds of things. And this is a copy on this side over here where the 111th Congress signed, this is an act, and it's signed over here by Nancy Pelosi, a Senator Robert Byrd, and approved by Barack Obama. Now, it took a lot of years of work in order for that to come into fruition. But we set our clear intention, we set our heart's desire of what we wanted to happen, and we did the work to bring it about. An intention is an aim or a plan. Now, I found a second definition of intention, and it was a healing process. I went, wow, I didn't realize that for intention. But what we usually use is it's an aim or a plan. It's something that we want. It's like planting a seed, and we do all that we know to do, like preparing the soil, putting it in the right environment, having some sun touch it. We water it. And then we wait with expectation that at some point we will see it sprout, see something green. And so although it took a number of years, that is indeed a national park. The Department of Interior maintains it. When I wanted to attend ministerial school, I didn't see how we would be able to afford it. We had one daughter in college, an expensive private college, and then the other daughter was about to go off to college, and we just didn't have the money for me to go. Well, I was in the process of applying, and our youngest one was getting ready to go off to a summer college program before the fall, and we just didn't have the money for me to go. I applied, and I was hoping to be able to go. Well, I had looked into local seminaries. I had, there was a Fuller Theological Seminary that was close by us. We lived in Southern California at the time. Della Reese was head of a seminary in LA, but when I called them, they didn't return my call, so I guess I wasn't supposed to go there. But I had learned about this idea to act as if. So I went out and I bought some turtleneck sweaters and some boots that I could wear in the snow and some long skirts so I would stay warm. And I just held on to them. I didn't know yet whether I was going to be admitted. And George was a banker, and I was the assistant to the minister at our Unity Church at the time. And he had begun consulting on the side. And after I received my letter of admission, he received a large commission check. And I remember we looked at each other and we said, I guess you're going. He said, I guess you're going. I said, I guess I'm going. And while I was at Unity Village in ministerial school, George served on our board of trustees at our church at home. He attended church, he volunteered, and he said he had to measure, count all his ducats so that he could have lunch every day. I got a part-time job at the Association of Unity Churches, and it was amazing. And then I had that for a while, and then my second year I decided to work at Unity Temple on the Plaza, which is a large Unity church that had 60,000 square feet in the building. And by the end of it, I had saved some money. Amazing. We're reading this book, we're studying this book, and I'm telling you this because there is a way for things to happen. The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity is a book that Edwene Gaines has written. And she makes clear in the book that the 4 spiritual laws that she feels that are so vitally important and that we teach in Unity is 1, tithing, 2, forgiveness, 3 is goal setting, and 4 is finding your purpose and living it. So our intention today, we're talking about intentions. Last week we talked about tithing. So this week we're talking about our intentions, our goals. And our number 1 goal is to put God first in every area of our lives, including our finances. And the way we put God first is to tithe. Now, there's more to this prosperity thing than simply tithing. Remember, we are to tithe on our income and give where we receive our spiritual food. However, we have our forgiveness work to do. And then we have to set goals. And we have to seek, find, and get on our divine purpose. Charles Fillmore, who's co-founder of Unity, wrote, quote, "Desire is the onward impulse of the ever-evolving soul." Desire. And we set our goals based on our desires. A woman in one of Edwene Gaines's workshops said, we have to increase our bliss tolerance. I love that. Increase our bliss tolerance. We are to increase our tolerance for pleasure. I remember Deepak Chopra told a story, and it was true. He said there was a fish tank, and in the fish tank, there was a clear glass dividing the fish tank in half. And on one side of the fish tank were all of the fish on one side of that glass. The glass divider was removed after a time, and the fish were so conditioned they continued to swim on the one side of the tank. Once the divider was gone, they could have moved all over and swam all over and had more space to swim, but they didn't move. And I feel like that's much like us. We get conditioned. And we have to cast aside our limitations and move beyond any limiting self-perceptions and step into the role of who we truly are. You and I, you are a child of the Most High. We are to swim all over the fish tank. I had a minister mentor, his name was Jack Graff, and Jack would say, "You are the light within the light. You are the light within the light." So whatever goals we set, we are not too old or too young. We're not too tired or too broke to overcome the world and achieve these goals. We're building a consciousness of deserving. During these next few weeks, be mindful of building a consciousness of deserving, of increasing your bliss tolerance, of increasing our tolerance for pleasure. So now I want you to listen carefully. This is a question. So listen for this question. If money, time, age, responsibilities, or education didn't matter, what would you want to do? How would you want to live? You get it? If there were no restrictions, if you didn't put any restrictions on yourself and the world didn't put any restrictions on you, what would you want to do? How would you want to live? Now, in her book, Edwene suggests that we are to be specific, that we think about what our dreams were when we were children, because sometimes we don't know what we want, and to think about how it is that we want to feel. You know, it's so important how we feel about things. The affirmation today is, I set my clear intention and leave the rest to God. Edwene did some deep reflection. She had something that happened in her life and it caused her to really dig deep. And she looked at herself, and these were her words. She said, I was not very tickled with what I saw, that I was a poisoner who was poisoning my own environment with gossip. I saw that I was a murderer because sarcasm is murder. Criticism is murder. Gossip and criticism create a powerfully negative energy that really pollutes everything around you. That's what she was saying to herself. She realized she was a poisoner. She said it was after that deep reflection and one of her spiritual teachers who said to her when she was complaining about everything one day, he said to her, Edwene dear, for you today the highest metaphysical law in the universe is don't complain. But he said don't bitch. So she came up with what was that 21-day challenge that we have talked about several times. She used a 21-day calendar, and she said she made one so she posted it on her refrigerator, and she made the commitment that for 21 days she would not gossip, not criticize, not complain, not to others or even to herself. She said if she could help it. She said, I would not utter any negative language at all for 21 days, she said, no matter what happened during that time. Whatever disaster that might be or might be performed, she said, my response was going to be, well, that's great. Well, that's great. Edwene challenges us to take that 21-day challenge. It's 21 days straight. And that if we slip and say something negative, we have to first forgive ourselves and then start all over again for another 21 days. She said when she did this the first time, she said she just felt so much more energy, like something flooded into her when she was more positive because she didn't have much to say. She said she didn't have much to say. When she first started this and she wasn't gossiping and she wasn't saying negative things, she said she didn't know what to talk about, so she was just quiet. So then she said, when she got through it finally with the 21 days, she said, with this energy and this positive thing, all she could do was praise and look for the good and see the good in things. So I think it'd be a good exercise for you to write down all the things that you appreciate, all the things that you see that are good that you have in your life, the small things and the big things. Of course, do the 21-day challenge of no criticism, no gossip, no negative speaking. But also do something where you are looking for the positive. With goal setting, we have to know what we want or what direction we want to move in to be effective. And we have to be specific. We're to set clear intentions. I can remember hearing some of the old Unity teachers basically saying, well, if you want to go somewhere, you don't go up to the ticket window like for the train window, because there was trains back then, or a bus station. You don't go and say, just give me a ticket to wherever you think I should go. You are to be specific about where and what it is you want to do. It is recommended that we read our intentions 3 times in the morning and 3 times before we go to bed. So if you have an intention, is there something you want to see happen in your life? Something that you want to bring forth, that you want to manifest. So be in that place of writing it down and put a date that you would like to see it to come into fruition. And think about it, ponder it. Just think about it in the morning, read it 3 times, and in the evening before you go to bed. See what happens. A woman by the name of Susan took Edwine's workshop, and she set a goal of winning the Pillsbury Bake Off. It was a bake-off contest, and Susan was an accountant, but she loved to cook. She loved to create recipes. And so when she did submit her recipes, she submitted 20 recipes before the deadline, and a month later she received a call that she had won. Edwine's book is full of stories of things that have happened and to positive things that have happened to people, prosperity stories. This idea of setting your intention, of setting your goals, is important. I remember years ago, one of our church members was afraid to fly. And she was on her way to Miami or someplace. And she talked to me about it. I asked if she knew what the airport looked like where she was going. And she said yes. So I suggested that she set her intention that she would arrive safely and see herself walking in the airport, getting her luggage and going on her way. You see, it is how we are directing our faith is what setting an intention is. Faith, as Unity defines, is the perceiving power of mind linked with the ability to shape substance. So it's important to see it, to envision it, to set the intention. You know, sometimes I use the word envision when we're praying and say, or I use the word see. So let's envision that whatever your prayer request is, happens. When I use the word envision or see, I actually am setting an intention for that something to come about. And so I'm going to invite you just to breathe and to think about whatever intention you would like to have show up. And remember, we set our clear intentions and leave the rest to God. So whatever that clear intention is, I invite you to just say it in your mind set your intention for whatever it is to be. And we will give thanks in advance that you will see it happen. And so it is. We set our clear intentions and leave the rest to God. This morning, I have a song by Daniel Nahmod. It's called Sitting on a Gold Mine. It's because we are sitting on the gold mine because as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, you know, he's the popular physicist. He said, we do not simply live in the universe lives within us. All right, so here is Sitting on a Gold Mine.
I've had so many doubts along the way. Felt like life was just another bill to pay, without anything to show. But now I figured out that every day my fortune's always found within my faith. And all I need is to let it flow, 'cause there's no wall around me, only fear has truly bound me. And all I need is trust and I am free. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Gold mine. My treasure has been right here all the time. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Alright, yeah. Finally, I'm breaking through so many lies. All those people telling me to run and hide from the truth of what I am. But now I'm telling you the future's bright. Tomorrow shines like diamonds in the sky. And all I needed was to understand that whatever I'm believing, well, that's what I'm receiving from the riches that reside inside of me. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Alright, my treasure has been right here all the time. Sitting on a gold mine. So don't you listen, never listen to the voice that says you better play it safe, that says you don't have any choice, 'cause you're as gifted as an angel, as brilliant as the sun. Just say the word and heaven has begun. We're sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. We're sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. Our treasure has been right here all the time. We're sitting on a gold mine. Alright, we're sitting on a gold mine.
That's Sitting on a Gold Mine by Daniel Nahmod. And Daniel is a wonderful truth student, has written lots of songs, and we get to hear him. I love him in person too. For our announcements this week, our coffee hour will be at 12 noon Pacific time. You can go to our unitysanleandro.org website, click on the coffee cup. It'll bring you right into the Zoom meeting for us to be able to talk to one another. And you can come for a minute or come for an hour. We'd love to see you. That's unitysanleandro.org, and there's a coffee cup with cream inside of it with a heart. Click on that. We have on Tuesday mornings a prosperity group meeting. We call it Prosperity Mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific time. You do the same thing, go to the coffee cup and come in at 9 o'clock Pacific time. It'll bring you into a Zoom meeting. On Wednesdays at 6:30 Pacific time to 7, we have a mastermind prayer group. Same thing, coffee cup. And then we are using Edwin's book, The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. I brought it so you can see it. And we have study guides that look like this. We can send you via email. If you send us an email at unitysanleandro@gmail.com, then I can email this to you. And this is the book, 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, a simple guide to unlimited abundance. And I've shared with you before, Edwin was poor. She said she had holes in her shoes. She was having trouble feeding herself and her daughter, and she now flies first class, travels first class, owns property, is quite wealthy. So she has practiced what she preaches. For our offering blessing, which it is now time for that, I invite you to hold your pockets, hold your pocketbooks, or just be in that place of visualizing them, knowing that there's no lack of limitation in your life. No lack of limitation in the mind of God. And so our offering blessing is divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, and all the good I give and receive. I am grateful. And so there is a donate button on that website also, unitysanleandro.org. All right, so as we go forth this week, becoming more prosperous every day, we know that the light of God surrounds us, and the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. The miracle-working power of God is, and all is well. Let there be peace on us. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family, all are we. Let us walk with our family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.